Well, it depends how strong that person is. And there has to be a certain connection for that, for what we do, okay, the way it works. Now, when you see push somebody, and I push their arm goes like this. Which is connection here at work, which means whatever force, okay, that required to this to break, it's not going to go to the rear. So what happens when these guys get pushed? We are taught to stay very well connected. That to the hand, there are 9 pearls. I don't know if you've heard of 9 pearls. You have a hand, which is combined with the wrist. You have an elbow, shoulder, and you have the entire neck spine to your top of the pelvis, and your hips, knee, and your ankle. Those 9 pearls has to stay intact. And you might have heard Vincent Chu write articles about this. What happens is that when you have these 9 pearls that are very strong, that are composed of your tendons and ligaments, your muscles can relax. So what happens in the power pushing hand is that as the energy is sent in towards his back foot, what it does is it hits the energy back foot and goes out the other way. Therefore, their body gets tossed. When I push against my teacher, I had the same idea. I pushed them, right? I neutralized them. I thought I was doing well, and I pushed them. What happens is I hit that back foot, and the energy came back to me. When that happens, it's like hitting a brick wall. And you need to have that connection. So if you're in the middle and you're holding it for him like a pendulum, right? Because that's a good example, right? You pushing on my shoulder, and Thomas is behind you trying to push you. And I send that energy forward. What happens, if your arms collapse, nothing gets generated to the rear. So nothing happens. It'll be just like this, boom. Nothing happens. So what happens is for this to work, and the reason we're doing this is that you want to continuously cultivate the energy and develop this power. Not show this as some spectacular presentation or entertainment. It is not, that's not for. There's a purpose to what we're doing this for. And then if you say, well, how is this going to work in martial art? Well, my idea is not to toss them back and forth. If someone, let's say a huge person is coming after me with the intention of hurting me, I do not want to have training with him. My objective is to knock him out and get it over with and go my way. If 2 assailants or 3 assailants come, you want to just take care of them as quick as you can. You can't sit there and toss them back and forth. Right? So this is a training method, so that we prepare ourselves by developing this power. So if some big person come at you, let's say a woman, it has to do with men, they come at you, done, and you walk away. That's what you want. That's what Tai Chi Chuan martial art is. Okay? It can be very brutal, right? But then there's a lot more beyond that, okay, which I have not covered yet. But right now, today, we're just going to basically talk about the martial art aspect of it. Why is Tai Chi Chuan so effective in martial art? Why it became so famous in 19th century China? You need to develop that power. But in order to develop that power, you need to cultivate this energy. This energy, that's the beauty of this energy. Okay? So I don't know if that answers your question. Okay?
Il y a une traduction. C'est long,
I have a little toy here. One question. First of all, the question is like, how heavy is that? It's 15 kilos. Okay? And what happens when someone visits me in my studio, and if they want to know about martial art and they have a certain attitude, I bring out 9 kilo and let them do a thrust. And there's been only one person who's able to do it among all the visitors. And this is 15 kilo. It's 15 kilo if you weight it at the middle of it, if you center it. But at the end, if you hold it at the end, it's no longer 15 kilo. I don't know, can anyone do a math? It may become 150 kilo, okay? But this, people get confused. This is not our training tool. We never use this to train Tai Chi Chuan. We use this to gauge our power, whether we still have it. 1 year from. So last time I did this, I did it this morning, but prior to that, how long has it been since, like 3 years?
3 years.
I have not done this in 3 years, okay? So I'm gonna do this, okay? And I've been sort of kind of out of shape. I broke my foot about 8.5 weeks ago. So I have not been training for 8.5 weeks. So I'm kind of feeling a little sluggish, but I'll see if I can still do it, okay? All right. So basically what we do is we do like a steer thrust like this. Three's enough, what's your name? How many times have you done that? I've did it more in the past, okay? So I don't want to damage the floor, unless I can do it one-handed. That's one-handed. So, well, if anyone want to come up and try that, you're welcome to try it. Just to feel it if you want to. Come on, guys, come on. You guys out there? There you go. Get the wood. Just go through the motion. I'll show you how it's done. Alright, the basically you're going to do this. Right? Hands are going to be held apart like this. And you're going to drive the back hand like this. And bring it back. Okay, so go to that motion. Drive it forward like this. Alright, and then bring it back. Alright, that's good. Get up there. I'm going to catch. You're going to catch. You're going to do this. You're going to catch.
I'll feel so with you.
Oh, damn.
You gotta be under here. You gotta be like this, right? Not like this. You have to be like this. So like, you have to catch. All right. Point forward. So eventually, if you do correct Tai Chi training, you should be able to do this. I have a student, a woman, trained with me for 12 years. She managed to do it with 10 kilo, 9 kilo. I made her do it in front of this gentleman who was about 100 kilos, 105 kilos. No, 105, that's much. He was about 235 pounds. And he wanted to learn martial art. So I made him do it. He couldn't do it. But my woman student, who trained me for 12 years, she did it. He was very embarrassed. and it did not come back. So, he should have came back. But so it doesn't matter if men or women, you could actually do this. I don't know if they can do 15 kilo, but they can definitely do 10 kilo. Okay, I have a student who can do it. Many guys cannot do it. Okay, and the thing with this is that she's not muscular. She works in the fashion industry, so if you saw her, you would think she was a martial artist. But she has that kind of a strength now. Okay? So eventually, anyone can do this, provided you get the correct training and someone shows you all those different training moves. And the beauty about Tai Chi Chuan is that you can set your own pace. If you don't want to train like a Marine, you don't have to. If you want to train like Marines, you can if you wanted to. The thing about Tai Chi Chuan is that it sort of kind of caters to your individual's needs. There's many different ways of training, but still accomplishing the same goal. As I said earlier, Tai Chi Chuan is about physical interpretation of Bagua. You know what Bagua is, right? You know the diagram you see? The 8 diagram? All right. Trigram. Yeah, and then you have yin yang in the middle, right? Okay. Well, in Bagua, in order to physically interpret Bagua, what most people know Bagua is there's like 8 postures: ward off, roll back, press, and push. But there's more to that. And one of the things that's most extremely important, but that's not being covered by entire Tai Chi Chuan, is that 45 degrees concept. 45 degrees. If you take a one trigram, okay, there's an equal angle to every one of these trigrams, and that's 45 degrees. And you need to understand that 45 degrees in order to understand the concept of full and emptiness. You know what a full and emptiness is? And you have an entire weight on one foot, what the weight actually is the sensation of that weightiness in the front foot and the back foot. And then you have to do this. And the reason you have to do this is because in order for you to understand the borrowing energy, which is a basic principle of power push hands, If your back foot is not empty, you cannot bound an energy. And that is like in physics. You press your finger against the wall, that press or the push creates the potential energy and kinetic energy. They say that wall push back, right? So if you understand the full emptiness of your feet, when I put the energy into that back foot, that energy comes straight right back to you. And that's internal. Internal neutralizing hand, you know, you've heard of neutralizing hands or what's the other one? The neutralizing hands? Or borrowing energy, right? They speak of borrowing energy. When some forces come at you like this, you turn sideways and you let the energy go out this way, right? Well, there are a lot of different martial arts that does that. Aikido does it, Kung Fu does it, boxers do it, even bullfighters do it, right? You never stand in front of that oncoming force. You sidestep, right? But that is not what you call internal, it's what you call technique, right? It's a technique that anyone can teach to anyone, right? But why does the modern Tai Chi people call their technique, which is same as Aikido, internal technique? There's no internal technique in sidestepping. What an internal technique is actually energy coming straight into your body and sending it straight back. Like you pressing on that wall. When you press on that wall, the energy goes in and comes straight back. That's internal. And that's what you have to learn in order to understand how power pushing is done. But in order to understand that, you have to understand full and emptiness when you do the form. But in order to understand the absolute full and emptiness of your posture, you have to understand the 45-degree concept and blah, blah. And that 45 degrees is extremely important, and it's very, and I really I focus on that 45 degrees. That's a detail. And then, of course, that's only one of the principles. But then you have to also talk about the lines, you have to talk about parallel lines, you have to go vertical. Okay? So it comes down to the four principles of centering, alignment, balance, and relaxation. In order to accomplish those four things, you have to pay attention to details. Fine-tuning, like the Ferrari. You can't just like throw things in the Ferrari and expect the Ferrari to go. You fine-tune that piece of machinery, and that's your body actually becomes. Your body becomes that fine-tuned machinery. So you can, for what reason? You can cultivate this energy. Because there's another four principle. You have a posture, and you have repetition, and you have variation, and you have transformation. You follow these concepts, follow these principles, these occurrences will take place. And does anyone know about Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? 4 bars, repetition, variations, and transformation. Right? Some of you should be familiar with that if you get some classical music background. Well, anyway, that's what you have to do. Therefore, the Tai Chi Chuan becomes very mathematic, very precise. Because the more precise, the more you will end up cultivating and refining your energy and power. I mean, you can do it sloppy, that's fine. But that's, if you want to do sloppy and develop sloppy energy, that's up to you. But if I'm going to put your time and effort and energy into something, then I'm going to put my best foot forward. Try to do it as precisely as possible. And these guys will vouch for that. Yeah, I'm really uptight on details and precision. Okay. Do they get hurt? But no, it doesn't get hurt. Because you don't want to, why don't you? Because energy is actually, you can do some of these. What I was doing is a little more advanced training, and I cannot train a beginner like this because your body won't be able to handle it. You can't teach calculus to somebody who's learning addition and subtraction, right? He may recognize the numbers and equations and some signs, and that person knows that's a mathematical equation, but has no idea what that is. So why do you bother to teach calculus to somebody who's learning addition and subtraction? Same thing. Why would I want to teach advanced technique to somebody who just learned the form, or somebody who just started doing push hand, right? There's a specific steps in which you have to take. Because you want to prevent that person from getting hurt. You want that person to understand what you're doing, right? I can force calculus upon that person who's doing algebra, but that person will not really understand. Because my objective is when I teach is that I want that person to eventually understand what we're doing. in order to do so, you have to go through the specific process, one at a time. So as you do this, in terms of your physical development, yes, you will get stronger. As you get stronger, then other things will be given to you so you can handle it. Because the last thing I want to do is I want you to get hurt and not come back, right? I want you to appreciate Tai Chi, right? And reap the benefit. In the beginning, when I started the workshop, I wasn't much different. I was going to use, you have to start from the scratch. You have to, but the only thing is, people don't want to learn another form, having learned 92 forms, right? Because they want to learn more advanced. So this is what I have offered in the last 5 to 10 years now. What I do is here, what these guys are doing, they're actually doing a master's workshop. They've done Tai Chi in the past. So what I do is, once you've done about 5 years of training, I offer master's program. That is, I teach more advanced. And then what happens is that, you come to realize the way we do the form is engineered or designed in such a way that you will benefit our advanced training. So without me encouraging it, people start to learn the way the form is done. Because later on, there's also this philosophy that you do the form like you do the power push hands, and you do the power push hands like you do the form. So that you learn, let's say, you do power push hands for me, but your form is different, right? But which means you're only reaping 50% of the knowledge. Because if you did the form, then you can fill that missing gap. But I do not encourage that. If you don't want to do the form, it's fine. Now, a lot of these guys here, first, they don't want to learn the form. It's fine. You want to learn the power push hand and develop internal power? This is what I offer. But what you want to do, aside from that, if you want to learn other curriculum, but if you have learned the form from the other teachers, whatever, you want me to refine it, or, sharpen it, or correct it, then it's fine as well. So that's what I offer. I do that of course, I do it here, I do it in Zurich, I do it in Toronto, and I do it in Korea.